So, when I heard another game like Lethal Company was blowing up, I knew I had to test it on a low-end PC. And, of course, thanks to you guys for recommending R.E.P.O, because this one is a banger. Unlike my previous struggles with Lethal Company, where my poor i3 laptop felt like it was being tortured, R.E.P.O is surprisingly well optimized. I barely had to tweak any settings, just turned off motion blur because, let's be honest, no one really likes that. And the game ran at a smooth 60+ FPS at 1080p with high settings. Yep, you heard that right. High settings, no graphics card, and still smooth gameplay. Alright, let's talk performance first, because I know that's the biggest concern for all of us low-spec warriors. Honestly, I was expecting the game to stutter, drop frames, or maybe even crash just for fun, like Lethal Company did on my system. But nope, R.E.P.O actually runs like a dream. At 1080p, high settings, and with motion blur disabled, because I refused to suffer, the game stayed above 60 FPS most of the time. Now, sure, there were some frame drops when things got hectic, but overall, it felt smooth and very much playable. It's a refreshing change to see a game in early access that's actually optimized for low-end hardware. So a big thumbs up for that. Now let's get into the real fun, gameplay. R.E.P.O is one of those games that perfectly blends horror and comedy, giving you an unpredictable yet ridiculously entertaining experience every time you load in. The core gameplay loop is simple yet addictive. Break into abandoned places, loot valuables, avoid getting mauled by monsters, and escape with your limbs intact. Sounds easy, right? Well, not quite. With 18 unique monsters currently in the game, and more promised in future updates, every run feels fresh and dangerous. Some enemies stalk you in plain sight, while others creep up when you least expect it. Unlike Lethal Company, where jump scares are a major part of the horror, R.E.P.O relies more on strategic, methodical enemy behavior. You can actually observe their patterns and plan your moves accordingly, until, of course, things go sideways and you're running for dear life. The mix of tension and teamwork makes every match a memorable experience. Speaking of teamwork, this game shines in multiplayer. While I did manage to play solo, which is still fun, co-op is where R.E.P.O truly comes alive. If you've ever played Lethal Company, you know the joy of your friends screaming incoherently as they get chased down a hallway. Well, R.E.P.O delivers that same level of chaotic fun, but with a few quality-of-life improvements. For instance, player animations are more polished, and the voice chat system even has animated lip syncing, making interactions feel way more immersive. And for those who hate using a mic, no problem, there's a text-to-speech feature, so even the shyest players can still scream for help in a robotic voice. Another big improvement over Lethal Company is visibility. The game isn't pitch black all the time, meaning you can actually see where you're going, most of the time. The only exception? When you're about to turn in your mission and the lights suddenly cut out, sending you into instant panic mode. However, while R.E.P.O has an incredibly strong foundation, it's still in early access, meaning there's room for improvement. More maps are already in development, and players have been asking for more customization options, like team upgrades, lobby settings, and cosmetics. Some mods already fill these gaps, but official support would make the experience even better. And let's not forget the elephant in the room. This game desperately needs a mascot. Seriously, every great horror game has one. LC has the Smiley Monster. FNEF has Freddy. Dead by Daylight has an entire roster of killers. R.E.P.O could use a creepy, recognizable face to haunt our nightmares. That being said, this game is a solid 10 out of 10 in terms of fun factor, but there are 3 things it urgently needs. Public matchmaking. Not everyone has 3 friends online 24/7. A terrifying or hilarious mascot. Give us a face we can meme about. More maps, because variety is the spice of afterlife. Overall, R.E.P.O is already shaping up to be an indie horror classic, and if the developers continue on this trajectory, it could even surpass Lethal Company in the long run. If you love co-op horror with just the right amount of chaos, this is a must-play. At the end of the day, R.E.P.O is an absolute blast, a co-op horror experience that balances tension, strategy, and comedy in a way that few games manage to pull off. Whether you're carefully sneaking around, looting valuables, or sprinting in sheer terror because your friend just accidentally triggered a monster, every session brings unforgettable moments. The fact that it's still in early access yet already feels more polished than many full releases is a testament to the hard work of the Semiwork devs, ironic name, considering they've been putting in the work. But let's be honest, no game is perfect, and R.E.P.O still has some gaps to fill. The biggest issue right now is the lack of public matchmaking, which makes it tough for solo players to find a group unless they already have friends on board. The map variety is also a bit limited at the moment, though thankfully, the devs have confirmed that more maps and missions are on the way. A better mascot or main antagonist would also give the game a more distinct identity in the horror gaming space. Because let's face it, every great horror game needs a nightmare-inducing mascot to haunt our dreams. However, despite these minor shortcomings, R.E.P.O delivers where it truly matters: engaging gameplay, unpredictable monster encounters, and great optimization, even on low-end PCs. Unlike Lethal Company, where settings often have to be adjusted for smooth performance, R.E.P.O runs impressively well straight out of the box, even on an i3 processor with no graphics card. That alone makes it a great pick for gamers who want an exciting co-op horror experience without needing a high-end PC. Looking ahead, if the developers stick to their promised roadmap, which includes new maps, lobby settings, cosmetics, and team upgrades, then R.E.P.O has the potential to become one of the best indie co-op horror games out there. The community is already loving it, and with frequent updates, it could easily surpass Lethal Company in both content and longevity. So, if you've got a group of friends who enjoy chaotic horror experiences, R.E.P.O is an absolute must-play. And even if you prefer going solo, the mechanical depth and monster variety make it an experience worth diving into. This game is already great, and with the right updates, it could become legendary. And that's it for today's low-end PC test. R.E.P.O not only passed the test, but it did so in style. If you enjoyed this review, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe for more low-end gaming content, and let me know in the comments which game you want me to test next. And hey, if you've played R.E.P.O, tell me your funniest or scariest moment. I'd love to hear your stories. Until next time, keep gaming, and remember, just because your PC is low-end doesn't mean your gaming experience has to be.